5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, Jack. How you doing?
I'm all right, mate. You?
Yeah, I'm good. I've got to say a big thank you to Jack from The Final Whistle. His link is in the description below. Jumping on at the very last minute. Tom, who usually does this show with me, has had to rush into hospital with his mum. So if he's watching this on catch-up at all, Tom, I hope everything is all right, mate, and that she is fine. Couple of things before we get into the games, Jack.
Yeah.
Sadly now, well, I know it wasn't everybody's favourite owner, but, you know, I think we've got a lot to thank Milan for.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Milan Mandaric.
Yeah.
You know, brought us after it obviously left Portsmouth, who we have got next, by the way. So I'm sure both sets of fans will give a standing ovation in remembrance to Milan. You know, he did do good things for Leicester. And, he put us in good stead in the end, selling us to, of course, Vichy. And look where that went in the end. He obviously helped Vichy when he did first come into the football club to really help him get underway. And, you know, very thankful that he brought in one of the best managers Leicester's ever had in Nigel Pearson as well, who laid the foundations for what was going to come for Leicester City under Vichy's leadership and that. And obviously what Pearson did for under the Milan era as well. So, yeah, thankful for what Milan's done. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, like we say, some of the good things that he's done, and even probably some of the bad things, bringing in Hossein Kaibi and that, and some of the unnamed players that we didn't even know a lot about, and Martin questioned it, but nah, all round nice bloke.
I mean, the biggest thing, of course, is because he'd sold Portsmouth and he actually said that he wanted to take some time out of football.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was Alan Birchnell who had actually played for him in America, not in the current guise of American soccer, but early on in the day when they had the Pellys and the Beckenbauers and what have you. I think it was Tampa Bay, I'm not sure, but Birch played for him and had a word with him and got him in. And I remember being down Filbert Street and we were all singing Milan is a Leicester fan. And, you know, I mean, yes, he made some mistakes. I don't necessarily think Ollie was a mistake, Ian Holloway, because, look, he took Blackpool up to the Premier League. I think it was probably the right manager just at the wrong time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Ian Holloway came in at the wrong time. Leicester were very up and down, weren't we, Chris? To be fair, there were always a time that we were going to go down at some point to third division. We were a bit like, what do we call it, a yo-yo club, very up and down the championship. And, you know, Milan had a lot of managers, you know, Craig Levine and all the other managers he brought in, Nigel Pearson, Martin Allen, Ian Holloway. Who else did he bring in?
Paulo Sousa.
Bloody Paulo Sousa.
You'd forgotten him, hadn't you?
Yeah. I said that to Swansea fans at the weekend about Paulo Sousa, and they bloody hate the bloke.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, God, yeah. I mean, he made a few mistakes. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank that he'd brought in and hadn't told Martin Allen about, and he was sat in reception.
Gary Megson brought in, by the way. Gary Megson.
Yeah, if only you'd remembered to get him to sign the contract first. But the thing is, I don't care, because I don't care how many things he got wrong. And yes, under him we did go down to the third tier, but he stopped us from going out of business again.
He did, yeah.
I'd sooner have a club in the third or fourth tier than have no club at all.
Yeah, that's the thing with Leicester at the time of Milan. We never knew what we were going to get and how we actually went about things. All these managers, all these players coming in, and we never really found that stability, did we, Chris? Until obviously Nigel came in, and then Nigel were like, Milan, we're going to go my way here. We're not going to go with what you've been doing previous, because not where it's getting us. So we went with Nigel's way. Nigel had a say on a lot of the transfers and all that, and it sort of stabled the ship, and things improved massively.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see. I did show this on the earlier show, but the white shirt in the top right hand corner. Oops, move me up there.
Very nice shirt, yeah.
That is signed by Milan, and everybody that met him always. Nobody really had a bad word for him. He had time for people.
Yeah. You're always very open with the media and that about who he was signing and this and that. That's the kind of person he was, wasn't he? He never kept anything under wraps. He'd always done that somehow, and you'd know who told him.
Oh, stick a camera in front of him and he'd talk and tell you every secret that he had. I met him at Accrington Stanley's ground, which was, I think, one of the last games under Martin Allen. And like I say, he just had the time. I mean, I never got a picture with him like, Steve, don't you, Elm? He actually was very lucky enough to get a picture with him. If I can just get the picture up. There we go.
Oh, when Steve looked like Robbie Nielsen.
Yes, it deserves a second look for that hair.
Unbelievable. It's what he's got now left. It's crazy.
Well, at least he's got hair now, more than I have. But yeah, lovely guy. Look, we know he loved football. He had clubs, in his native Serbia, and he went on. We know that when he bought a club, he wasn't buying us because he loved Leicester. He was buying us because he was thinking of the money.
Yeah, do you know what? He never brought clubs for a lot of money, did he? He brought them on the cheap and sold them for big. That's what he did. He sold Leicester for, I think it was £40 million to Vichai. And obviously, people always think, who do you sell these clubs to? And, we were lucky that these people who did buy Leicester City, they were good people. They wanted the best for the football club, and obviously it went on to prove it, with what obviously happened. Not obviously now with what's happening now, but back then, things were a lot more better. We were a club competing in the Championship, and we were never really steady, but we did get promoted in the end under Vichai's vision and that, and how he took the club forward. But Milan then went on to buy Sheffield Wednesday for £1, and I think he ended up selling it for £35 million to Chelsea.
But he saved them again. That was the thing,
That's what he does.
I do hope the fans do give him, that round of applause, and I'm sure they'll have either a minute's applause or a minute's silence. As you said earlier, the good thing was that, when Top and Vichai came in, they had never run a football club. They didn't know what to do. But Milan stayed for 6 months.
They did, and helped them out.
To ease them in. But anyway, rest in peace and sympathies to his friends and family. Hi to Craig is in. Hi to Prashant, Blue, and Scott, who's just come in. I'm calling this the curse of the managers that didn't get the Leicester job. Because following on from Graham Potter's sacking. Oh, what a shame that was from West Ham. Of course, Russell Martin has now been sacked as Rangers manager. I mean, talk about us having dodging a bullet. We dodged 2 bullets, I think. But this guy, I mean, what was he? I mean, what were the Rangers board thinking about?
Yeah, when his name got mentioned with Leicester, it were a no-go for me. I'm sorry. I think the guy's a fraud. The way he plays football and that, and the way he speaks himself up, the arrogance and all that, it proved it. He threw the Rangers players under the bus time and time again. And I don't think the Rangers player liked him, to be fair. And he'd fall out with a lot of them. He'd go in press conferences, talking about different things, the arrogance. He never really took responsibility for what he was doing as a manager, and a coach. And yeah, Southampton fans, I know he got them to the Premier League, but without seeing what Southampton had, you'd expect them to go up in promotion any shape or form. But he did his job. He went to the Premier League and he showed exactly who he is. He's a fraud who wouldn't change anything. He was stubborn and just not good enough. This style of football now that Russell Martin plays, it's fizzling out now, and fans who support other clubs who's changed the dynamic of playing a different way are sort of finding they can take advantage of this style of football now, this passive possession-based football, because that's fizzling out now. It's going to be a new generation of football soon. And Russell Martin's time at Rangers, not good enough. I think they're really glad that he could have gone sooner, to be fair. But I think, it's one that want to forget about. But the only club that did like him in his time as a manager was Swansea.
Yeah, Swansea again. They're around us all the time. We can't get away from them, can we? But yeah, I mean, I don't think there was one. I don't think I saw one post or one person that actually said, yes, we should get him in. And the funny thing is, I mean, he's only about 5 points behind Celtic, but that's 4 points too many for Rangers fans.
It is.
Hearts
top of the league at the minute, are they?
Celtic, I think, were second. Would you say Hearts?
Yeah, Hearts are top.
Yeah, I think Hearts were, yeah. Who are one of my 2 Scottish teams that I kind of follow. St Johnstone being the other one. And I think in the design. It's weird. I like the name St Johnstone, and purple's one of my favourite colours, which is why I went for Hearts. So, apart from that, nothing to do with Craig Levein or what was that striker he brought down from Hearts?
Did he bring in Alan Mabry, Craig Levein?
No, not sure. It was the guy, the Dutchman that he brought down from Hearts that couldn't score. Oh my God! Made Akinbaye look good, but he did scuff one against Spurs when we beat them in the cup.
Mark De Vries.
Yes, yeah. I love of Hearts. It's nothing to do with Mark De Vries at all.
The worst striker at Leicester City, him in that time.
Yeah. Niall, he was linked, but I think that was probably agent talk. I don't think... none of the fans wanted him anyway. Let's put it that way. Right. Well, none that I knew. But like I say... glad Martin or Potter didn't come to the Foxes. Just shows, doesn't it? I mean, certainly with old Graham Potter, I don't think it could have happened to a nicer bloke, the sacking. But and as Scott said earlier, Ange to be next. He's already regretting it, possibly.
Well, this is the thing with modern day management, isn't it? You've got to be getting the points on the board. If you're not doing that, then you change. I mean, Chelsea's had quite a few managers, aren't they? Quite a lot of players. They've really found that stability under the new ownership, have they? Obviously, till they brought in Enzo, who's won things, and they've had Poch, they've had Tuchel, they've had.
But the fans aren't particularly keen with Enzo.
That's the thing. It's the style of football again, Chris. They don't seem to like it, and then you're bringing in all these players, and then Enzo's getting rid of them because they're not good enough for him. They don't suit his style, and you then look at Graham Potter. Did well at Brighton, laid the foundations there, fantastic. Goes to Chelsea, goes to West Ham, not good enough at all. And West Ham, they're sort of a club at the minute who seem to be in a bit of a disarray, don't they? You know, with
God, they do. And again, I'm sorry, the fans. I always say, be careful what you wish for. The fans wanted Potter out, not wanted Potter out. So the fans wanted Moyes out.
Mm.
They got Moyes out, and well, I bet they wish they hadn't now. But anyway,
them. Yeah.
Right, let's have a look. So these were the midweek games. I've got to say, just quickly running through these, fair play to Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, where they are and what's happening to that club, and I feel so sorry for them because but for the grace of God, go all of us, I mean, it's like with Portsmouth and Milan. He sold it to a guy who then sold it on and ended up with it being owned, I think, by a international gun runner. So you don't know who you're selling it to. But, fair play to Sheffield Wednesday. They're playing with pride, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what you like seeing it. The players haven't gave up on the club, even though Chanzir is an absolute tosspot, by the way, with how he's treated in the club. He doesn't care, does he? This is the thing. A points deduction is not going to really affect him. So he's going to be like, well, I'm not really bothered, to be fair. It's good to see that Barry Bannon's got the team together. Very experienced player in the dressing room who's galvanised them, to be fair, and they're not getting paid. And all these transfer embargoes, they are being put in under in all these embargoes by the EFL and that. And it's just a horrible situation, and you sympathise with them as a club because the fans are the ones that feel the brunt of it in the end, Chris, that love, that passion. And you never ever want to see your club in that situation. There's fans who don't support Sheffield Wednesday like ourselves, obviously Leicester fans, and every fan in England, I don't even think Sheffield United fans would ever want to see them go out of business, to be fair, because I think they'd miss that Steel City derby too much.
I don't think you do. I mean, I wouldn't want, with all the trouble that Coventry have been in and Derby have been in, yes, I love it if Derby get relegated. I'd hate it if Coventry got promoted. But I would never want to see either of them go out of business. Because, I used to work in Bury, for example, and for about 2.5 years, and I knew what the club meant to a lot of the people that lived there. And, of course, they went out of business. So, and we nearly did twice as well. So, to me, no, I don't. I never want to see any club go out of business. And it's nice to have those derbies, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Another team that I was going to say is struggling. They've changed their manager as well, Sheffield United.
Who exactly, Chris?
Sorry?
Changed the manager to who again?
To Chris Wilder.
For the third time. Do you know what, right? It's a loving relationship, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the thing with Sheffield United. You sort of run back to your ex all the time, don't you? The amount of times she cheats on you and that or does something like that, you still love them and you want a bit more. And this is Chris Barner, who's a Sheffield United fan.
Yeah, I don't know if was that his first. No, that was his second game. I think the first game they still lost. I think they lost to Charlton 1-0 at home. And then I don't know if you saw the highlights of that game, but there was sort of about 10 nude 20-something-year-old girls throwing rose petals as you walked out. I mean, if they weren't, why weren't they? Because he could have demanded that. He could have demanded anything to go back, couldn't he? He said, I want a massage, with a happy ending after every game. He could demand what he wanted.
They'd have had to offer him some good money though again. To go back again after sack. I think they knew they made that mistake in it after sacking him after that playoffs, wanted to get 90 odd points and they just managed to miss out with Sunderland going up. And then they brought in Ruben Sellers, who I believe is overrated, by the way. I don't I just don't think he's what people make out. So Wilder's been in charge for what? 4 games now? He's won 1 and lost 1 and lost 3, I think.
Did he draw 1? I'm not sure if he drew 1.
So he lost to Southampton, lost last weekend, just gone.
Oh, right, maybe he did.
Lost to Charlton and then beat Oxford.
Oh, right. Southampton, though,
Yeah, they're in a bit.
I don't buy into this Will Still.
No.
I mean, the guy. All right, he has managed abroad, but a bit like Potter at Brighton, and unless you get the right club, it doesn't mean that you're any good. And I think the thing, he's got this sort of thing about he was brought up on PlayStation or Xbox, whichever it was. He knows how to do that. I mean, bollocks.
Yeah.
I mean, Southampton are where they are because of the manager.
They're just not good enough.
No.
You talk to their fans that football's too slow. They're not doing enough in games. Teams are sort of changing of how they play against Southampton to sort of take advantage. Saints could go 1-0 up and then the other team will have more chances after because they'll know how to sort of do it with Southampton. And Will Steele, I think he's really struggling, to be fair. But then you got players of such experienced players like your Stevens, you Taylor Harwood Bellis and that, really causing a problem. Some would say they got chip on the shoulder and that. Players are sort of think they're better than the manager at that club, and he sort of tried to sort that situation out. And we've obviously had it at Leicester, haven't we, Chris, where players just think they're bigger than the club, and out. And I think Will still won't last long at Southampton.
No.
Maybe it'll be gone by probably the end of October if they're not winning games at all. So, yeah, it's a bit of a...
I can't see him lasting. I think he'll go before the transfer window at some point, so you can bring a new manager in because, out of the three that have come down, I thought Ipswich would have been doing better, but we'll come on to them in a second. They're doing the worst, Talking about teams that have come down, I had a bit of a moment in the post-match against Wrexham because I think every fan that was either in the chat and certainly my three co-hosts were all like, "This isn't bloody good enough," and all that. And I'm going and I actually did before the review of the game. I think it was. I actually had written about a 10-minute speech about where we were last year under Rood and where we are now. And the people were coming out, and I was interested to get your take on it, because people coming out saying, and yes, we should have won that, but I got people in the chat going, it was rubbish, we were awful, we should be beating these sort of teams.
Sure.
But we could have easily come down and done a Luton.
Yeah, we could have.
Every stat that I put up, Marty has improved from under Rood. 10 of the 11 players that started the game at the weekend were here under Rood.
Yeah.
And yet that was a completely different performance than what we were seeing under Rood. Disappointed, yes, but rubbish, surely not.
To be fair, Marty's done well in a short space of time with his team. He come in late on. Didn't really have much of a transfer window to look at, did he? To be fair,
no.
And he had to change the mentality quick, get the players on side, get his philosophy across, change the culture at the training ground, and that's always difficult to do as a manager, with especially where side we had with certain players thinking they can get away with all these different things, and a squad that's got hammered pillar to post last season. It's difficult to change that mindset. It's not like a light switch where you can just flick it on and off when it does what you want it to do. This squad would always be difficult to sort of change the things, and if they are willing to do it and get on side with the manager. But I think he's done that quite well. We lost one game under him so far, which we were pissed for against Preston. It's probably one of the worst games I've seen this season, to be fair, bar West Brom. But the Wrexham game was, I thought we dominated the first 60 minutes. I thought we did quite well in the game. We should have at least gone for that second goal. I think that was the much needed. But what I'm sort of struggling with is in the Wrexham game is and before the Wrexham game, we're struggling to see games out. We're struggling to kill these games off. Wrexham are the sides you need to beat to gain the points to get promoted this season, if that's where we want to go. But we always know the Championship's tough, Chris, and we make our own problems, Leicester City. We hand teams goals when they're not even in the game sometimes. And we're like, well, how's that happened? It's not like teams have caused us issues. We cause our own problems. And most of the goals have been our own fault. Yeah. So that's another one again. But yeah, when we made that substitution, bringing Oliver Skip on the night, changed the momentum. The switch went into Wrexham's favour. They got the goal due to our own doing, and you'd probably say a draw was a fair result in the end. We could have ended up losing it. So, I
mean, that first 45 minutes, I'm guessing, you were at the match, but that first 45 minutes was the best 45 minutes I've seen us play, including the weekend. When I did because I do my reviews on Monday, and when I did that, it was 130 days. So it's going to be what now? 137 days since the end of last season. Would you agree that 137 days ago that you didn't, a little bit of you didn't think at that point, because we'd still got Rude in, we've got players that weren't performing, and a little bit of you thought, shit, we could do a Luton here.
Yeah, we never knew how Leicester would turn up this season.
No,
and this is the thing in it with the mentality. We were thinking to ourselves as Leicester fans at the end of last season, how many players we can get rid of out of this squad? We wanted them all gone, didn't we? To be honest, because we'd had enough. And that's how fans looked at it. The relationship between the fans and the players were toxic. The club, and we was in a massive mess. And Van Nistelrooy went, and then we're sort of thinking, who are we actually going to bring in here? Because Russell Martin were getting mentioned. Chris Wilder even got a mention. And
I wouldn't have been against Chris Wilder. I'm going to stick my neck out and say that.
Gary O'Neill was one.
Oh, God, no, shut up. No, we don't.
I know your stance on that one, because
he is the son of the devil. I do not want Gary O'Neill. I'm sure he's a very nice guy. Yeah, I don't want him managing my football club.
but no, Marty, he's a great bloke. He speaks well. He brought his way to come here, and he came here off his own back basically. And we've got to give him time. We have.
Yes.
As fans. We've got to give him time.
I'm just thinking
it's not a lot of overnight type of change. It's going to be more of a long term.
Oh, it's baby steps, definitely. And what got me was that I'm not saying Daka's, brilliant, but he had a decent game. Yeah. Actually, Bobby DeCover-Reid had a very good game for him. Both of those were getting brickbats in the chat, even after the game, they were shit and all this. And I'm like, come on, guys, in 25 league games under Ruud van Nistelrooy, we scored 17 goals.
Yeah.
At that point, we've now got 13 in 9. So we're only 4 off in 9 games what he got in 25. 4 wins in 25 games under Ruud van Nistelrooy. 4 in 9 under Marty. I can just go on and on and on, People say, it's another draw, we should have won. Guys, we lost 14 on the trot last year without scoring. Last year, we'd have bitten your hand off to get 4 fucking draws, wouldn't we? You know what I mean?
They were like 1 winning 17 at one point.
Yeah, it was absolutely embarrassing. And I just think, just remember where we've come from. But it was disappointing rather than rubbish, I think, Ipswich, first of all, Middlesbrough Stoke. Middlesbrough, and we'll look at what happened to them at the weekend in a bit, but they really seem to the wheels coming off the wagons at the moment.
You know what? They've had a good start, Middlesbrough.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
A lot of teams that we didn't expect to be up there or probably around like the playoff area or just below, have improved. They've improved a lot. Rob Edwards had to go in there, new manager, did what he did at Luton, got them promoted to the Premier League, then obviously got relegated twice. So, yeah, Middlesbrough fans probably didn't rate Rob Edwards at the start, but he's now started to do quite well. Stoke have started well. Sorbo Thomas has been fantastic for them, by the way. Victor Johansson, former Leicester goalkeeper, has done well. So their two sides will have started off on the right foot of things, and maybe them two will be physically finishing higher than we've probably put them this season.
Yeah. Ipswich they got a draw against Bristol, who are another club that had started well.
Yeah.
Ipswich haven't had the best start. Yes, they won the East Anglian derby at the weekend, but I'm surprised they're not doing better. I mean, I think most of us had them winning the league because of the players that they brought in.
They've got a fantastic squad. And I think it's been, with some teams that come down to the Premier, it takes them longer than others. Obviously, Leicester's had a better start out of the 3 teams that have come down, which people are surprised with. People expected Ipswich to come in here and bloody romp the league with a squad that they've got and how much that squad's worth. So I just think it's been frustrating with Ipswich. They've not expected things to be this difficult early on. Obviously, it is a tough league, the Championship. We know it's very unforgiving at times when you don't give 100% in games, and maybe this is what Ipswich have done. They're slow burners, basically, and I think they'll start getting to go again after the international break. They'll start winning more games.
They will. Coventry, hate to say it, but they're banging the goals in for fun. And again, Leicester fans, they've got 29 goals, is it, this season? They've scored. No, 27, sorry. 27 goals they've scored this season.
Yeah.
The back 4 that was basically letting in goals left, right and centre last season, although Ricardo obviously wasn't playing. But, we stopped them from actually scoring.
We should have won that game, to be honest. If Maverdine had that chance away, Chris, we'd have had 3 points and been on complete sort of same points than that with them. And this is what's been frustrating with Leicester. We've drawn games that we needed to win, to be fair, and we need them wins. But in all sort of terms that. They always say in football, if you can't win, don't lose. But Leicester make it difficult on themselves. You've seen it against West Brom. We made it difficult for ourselves. They scored on the balance of play, really, and then, we just didn't look like scoring. We didn't do enough in the final third, and that's what Leicester struggled with. But Coventry, they're doing things in the final third. They're taking chances and risks when they want to, and they've started off very well. I know they're 3 points ahead of us at the minute. Coventry fans are like, mind the gap, Leicester. But let's not say you've won the league in October, Coventry fans. Let's look where you are after 46 games, and then if you're crying again and you're staying in the Championship next season, so be it. But this is it.
I mean, I'm going to say fair play to them because nobody sort of rates Frank Lampard as the manager, but he's doing all right there. And like I say, 27 goals scored. The only team that's not lost a game now. But as I say, it's just, when you're saying about our season that we're having, just think we stopped them scoring, and that's something. And again, in the midweek, just to round that off, West Brom had him in a decent start. Oxford managed to get a draw with QPR, who were doing reasonably well as well. It is a completely, just before we come on to the weekend's games in more detail, I mean, look at the prediction league, mate. None of us are doing well,
Where I am in that league, to be fair.
In fact, I can tell you because I got the late. Oh, this doesn't include this weekend's. This is, but there won't be a prediction league this week, obviously, because there's no match. But I can tell you where you are because Brad has sent it through to me earlier. So let me just have a look.
Is that including this weekend's games? Just gone?
No, it includes the midweek games, but not this weekend yet. So, where are you, Jack? 1, 2, 3. You're 6th with 28 points.
How many points from top?
36 is top.
It's only 10 points.
And I tell you what, fair play to Nate. He won it last year. He's in America. And we always say Americans don't know the soccer. He's doing all right.
I always find though, Chris, with the predictions, the championship is very hard to call. You look at the midweek games, Tuesday and Wednesday, I think there were 8 draws. And most of us would actually have gone through a lot of wins. And it was the first week where I thought, do you know what? I think I'll go for wins because the week before I went through quite a few draws. It's interesting, and that's what I hate about the championship. You can't predict it at all.
No. I had a really bad weekend last Saturday, not the one just gone, the one before. I got no points whatsoever. I'm on 20 points. Chris, you should do a motivational talk at Seagrave. I should, tell him just to send me a blank check and I'll go and do it. I'm only on 20. I jumped up, but I've gone down. It is a hard league to predict. Yeah. Anybody can beat anybody, I think, in this league.
Yeah.
So going on to this weekend, it started obviously Friday night. It started with Wrexham against Birmingham, 2 of the promoted teams. What were your thoughts of Wrexham? And we played both of those. We beat Birmingham, we drew with Wrexham. I think they're just maybe reality biting them a little bit now.
I think they've had a good few games now, haven't they, Wrexham? They're starting to get the shit together, basically. But that Hollywood derby, it weren't a great game. I think it was just a game of 2 halves, Chris. Wrexham had the first half, did quite well. Should have been 2 up in the game. I went for a 1-1 draw in that one, so I got that one. Birmingham really struggling, aren't they, since Leicester brought them back down to reality. Before the Leicester game, it was all like, we're going to batter Leicester, we're going to finish top 2, we're going to do this. And I said, Leicester are going to be the ones who bring you back down to reality. Look what's happened since. The British, I think they've only won one game. One game. They beat Swansea, didn't they? 1-0. They were looking to even get a draw from Sheffield Wednesday. So they've struggled since they played Leicester. And this is it with the championship now. They're realising how tough it actually is to how easy they thought it would have been.
Yeah. I actually went for a 2-0 Wrexham win there. I just, again, a lot of people were having Birmingham, because when we did sort of, before the season kicked off, we had like a little mini prediction. Who's going to win it? Second, you're 4 in the playoffs. And everybody, except me, I think, I might have just sneaked them in, but they all had Birmingham at least in the top 6. And I'm thinking, I just think it's a big jump from League One to the Championship. They say it is from the Championship to the Premier League, but it is from 3 to 2 as well. You got
to adapt quite quickly. When you're a promoted side, it's always difficult, isn't it? You've obviously got to spend money. Obviously, Birmingham did spend quite a lot of money to win League One. But Wrexham, they've had to spend money, haven't they? They've had to, obviously, they brought in Mr. Podcaster, who was on, obviously, Sky Sports yesterday. Again, he spent more time on Sky and radio and that than he has in the Wrexham shirt this season. So that pissed him off a bit. Obviously, he's on quite a bit of money there again. So this is the thing with Wrexham, that Phil Parkinson was under a little bit of pressure with results not going well for him, but he sort of turned it around. He's found a way of Nathan Broadhead fitting the system quite well. Kiefer Moore scored a few goals. So I think they're just, everything's starting to come together. I thought Kabore were fantastic against Leicester, by the way, Chris.
Yes, he was, indeed. Yeah.
All night, to be fair, and Christensen. But no, I think Wrexham are just starting to get the shit together, and I think they can pick up a few more points. I think they'll stay up this season. I've had them bottom half of the table, but if they finish around about 16th, maybe.
Yeah. Do you think we'd have scored and won that game midweek if Danny Ward had been in goal?
No bloody answer. Question I need to answer, is it, Chris? To be fair, of course we would. No, I'm joking, Chris. If Danny Ward were in there, even with one arm, mate, it'd have turned into prime Manuel Neuer on us, and we're thinking, surely. But no, I do physically think with Leicester that what didn't win us that game were the arrogance from the players, that we thought it was going to be a walk in the park, and that's the mentality of us. But if we actually had more shots on target and created a lot more and took a lot of risk, I think we'd have won the game. But this is football, you see, and
it definitely is. Excuse me. Stoke City had a reasonably good start. Falling away. I mean, not in a horrible way. But they are down to fifth. They were second at one point. Held by lowly Blackburn.
Yeah, the bloody Venky's situation at Blackburn, the board. There's a big mess at Blackburn. We talk about Sheffield Wednesday with ownership and that. Blackburn's the same. Probably Sheffield Wednesday is a bit more worse, but yeah, Blackburn. It's been quite rainy days at Blackburn. I mean, you've seen the Ipswich game get called off, and they had to get the canoes out, Chris, to get the players off the pitch because it were flooded. No, joking.
All you needed was Steve Linux doing the breaststroke, wasn't it?
Exactly. Swimming lessons there, good draw for Blackburn. I think it was one which were much needed after some of the results against Charlton and Swansea. So, yeah, you can never really count your chickens with Blackburn, can you, Chris?
Boom, chicken. See what you did there? Yes. They've lost 5. As you know, I used to work at Blackburn, and the funny thing was, like at Christmas, sometimes you had to get a bottle of champagne or something. With Blackburn, and this was pre-Venky's. This was still under Jack and Jack Walker. We all got a turkey, believe it or not. But I have to say that, the owners there, I think for a while, again, be careful what you wish for, because you wanted Sam Allardyce out, Blackburn fans. That's what the Venky's did to please you. And they gave you Steve Keane, who was the assistant manager. And the rest, as they say, is history. But I think they put the money in, but I don't think they've ever actually been to watch a game.
Yeah, I think they've been to a couple of games. I think the last game they visited, they got a snowball through it to them. So, they're not happy customers, should we call it? But
they're not.
You can understand the board making the decisions. I speak to a lot of Blackburn fans who have a lot to do with the football club itself, and they hate it. They don't like the owners. They don't like the board. They've not got a lot of money to spend at all. They're not being backed enough, and they're just having to get by with what's got. And the Venky's, they've got a bloody court case in is it India or somewhere? I think still. So still attending to, but they did say they won't sell the club. But I'm sure if a big money move coming from Saudi or somewhere, I think they would.
Yes, yeah. It's not a bad little club, to be honest with you.
It's in the heart of Lancashire, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's in the heart of Lancashire, but it's not great when the weather pours down.
No, it's not. No. That and Burnley, of course. And I lived in Burnley when I was working at Blackburn.
You lived on the territory side, Chris, the enemy territory.
I know, it was awful. Honestly, I got 2 free season tickets. So it was me and my eldest, and then my youngest was underage, so got in free anyway.
Yeah.
And we got some shirts for like a tenner each. From the shop because of discounts and what have you. And we had to stop, literally, driving home after a home game. We would stop on the motorway hard shoulder, take the Blackburn tops off and put Burnley or some other nondescript top on. Because if we were wearing the Blackburn shirts and stopped at traffic lights in Burnley, we'd have had our tyres slashed, But no, it was nice It was like an alcoholic working in a pub, to be honest with you, but they shit on me, but there we go. Sheffield Wednesday were just saying about them putting a fight up. Coventry come to town and get 5. I mean, fair play to Frank Lampard. He does take a lot of stick, especially off Brad. He hates Frank Lampard, Gerrard, Rooney, all, becoming managers.
Yeah.
He's doing an all right job at Coventry, isn't he?
Well, they scored, 3 against Birmingham, 4 in midweek against Millwall, and 5 in this one. So,
and 7 in one game against QPR.
They're scoring goals for fun at the minute, Coventry, but the whole mess at Sheffield Wednesday would have played a massive part in, protests. And the thing is, at Hillsborough, it's a real struggle in it for the players because of what's happening there. The Panzeri thing and all that. It can be very off-putting. Of course, it can, but it disrupts a lot, doesn't it, in what's happening at the club? It's not a nice environment to be in at the minute, and that's because Chanzeri's made it that way. So Coventry have took advantage of them situations, haven't they, and got the 3 points and handed them a high five, basically, and said thanks for the 3 points and all the best. But yeah, it could have been a game that could very much got called off if more fans had ran on the pitch and protested. I believe there was a decent amount of group there who did protest against Chanzeri, but that's the thing. The only way Chanzeri leaves is if nobody pays for anything or anything like that. Food, merchandise, tickets, and just leave the stadium empty all the time. That's all you got to do. But why people are still there? He's
but
like,
you want to support your club, don't you?
This is it.
Yeah.
I respect that massively, and it's horrible situation. It's dark days at Sheffield Wednesday, and I think everyone's behind them, including ourselves.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. The other half of Sheffield, like we said before, God came back in. Hasn't really worked out, has it? And it was interesting. I saw the video where his first day at training after he reappointed, and he's hugging all the players, and obviously a lot of the players were there last season. And this reminds me a little bit of like Leicester, is that decent players ruined by a manager. So it isn't just the case for Wilder to come in like with Marty at Leicester and go like, right, I'm back. You know what you got to do, go out and start winning again. He's got to lift them up because they're going to be, after their start, they're going to be like, their chin's going to be on the grass, isn't it? And he's got to pick them up like Marty did with the Leicester players. And Hull, again, took advantage. It was away for Sheffield United. But I think Wilder's probably got a harder job on than he may well have realised.
This is it. It's a bloody mess at Sheffield United, I know. Hull took advantage of that. What is it? 1 win in 9 for Sheffield United in the league. No, they're holding Sheffield Wednesday up at the minute, and I think Sheffield Wednesday fans are enjoying that, by the way, the losses that Sheffield United are putting together. So the thing is, Wilder's got a tough job, but then this rut of losses is also hard to overcome as well. More times you lose, the mentality drops, the confidence is on the floor, and it's always difficult to come back from. And I think they're going to struggle this season. I do. I don't know. Going to get it because Gus Harmer I thought was fantastic last year, championship player of the season. He's a player that Sellers put on the bench a lot of the time, just didn't fancy him. Callum O'Hare, they need their big players to step up, but they did sell a lot of key players in the summer, and they did keep Tom Cannon, by the way, who Leicester sold him for £10 million, which is a great bit of business, Chris. They don't like it. You must have read it as well. I forget who it was that wrote it, saying that it was the best bit of business Leicester had ever done. Oh, it is. They hate him. They hate him at Sheffield United. I said to my mate who were a Hull fan at the weekend, I said, Tom Cannon play? He said, yeah, come on as a sub. I said, did he do well? He said, no. And I said, well, that's no surprise, is it? I said, he's only scored 1 goal since he's been there.
The Dakar of the Blades, as they say.
It's like Leicester's played a bloody knock-on effect, haven't they?
But again, his confidence is going to be low. I mean, I saw that game where they played Ipswich. Yeah. And in fairness, in that first half, they went in 1-0 down, but they were probably on par with Ipswich. In the second half, they just completely disintegrated, and Tom Cannon missed the sitter. I mean, we were screaming for Tom Cannon to be given a chance, but we hadn't seen him. So we didn't really know what he was like,
He's not Premier League level, is he? Let's be fair. And if you're not scoring for Sheffield United, well, who are you scoring for? He did all right at Stoke on loan, but he did a Dakar and scored 4 goals in 1 game and never really did anything after that. So It's a tricky one at Sheffield United, Chris. He's got a big job on his hands, Chris Wilder, to come in and really change that mentality. And if he can't, then we'll bring him in for a fourth time after the bringing another manager.
It's not goodbye now when Wilder's sacked. It's just au revoir.
It's all right. Yeah, we'll see you again soon. Yeah.
That's a good question there. Do you think Cannon would perform better in a better team?
I mean, he did okay at Leicester. He weren't like.
He didn't really get a chance, did he, at Leicester? Let's be honest.
Really, is why. That's why I always say I say this to a lot of Leicester fans about Tom Cannon at Leicester. It never really worked out. We signed him in, he was injured, and then he come back, scored against Huddersfield, scored a couple of goals, but never really got the game time, did he, to be fair? And something must happen behind the scenes for him to leave Leicester. And then we ended up sending him on a permanent when things got tough.
Interesting. Maybe the managers that were here, like Enzo and Cooper and Rude, were probably right that he wasn't good enough.
Not good enough, yeah.
Talking about Southampton and Will Still, lowly Derby they visited, and again they only just got a draw. I mean, Southampton are really, they're sat in 17th. They've only won 2 of the 9 games. They've drawn 5. They're doing a bit of a Leicester.
Yeah.
But they have only got the 2 wins. But they've not, they're not lost in 4. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. They've not lost in 3, sorry. But they say they've got those 5 draws, scored 11, conceded 12. Like we said before, I think Will Still will not be there at the end of the season.
He's just not good enough. Some Southampton fans who I spoke to think he's overrated. But against Derby, I spoke to my Derby mate at the weekend, and I said, "How did Southampton play?" He said, "Both teams weren't really great, to be fair." But he said, Adam Armstrong scored. We got back into it just before half time, and then we were far better than them second half. Southampton looked on the back foot a lot of the time, and they were poor, very poor with the ball. They just sloppy on the ball, just never really looked like scoring again. And this is a real worry for Saints, isn't it? And obviously Derby have got 4 draws now. They're learning a bit from Leicester, aren't they, from before?
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, Derby are down there in 20th. I think they'll struggle this season. Was it the Blackburn manager that went to Derby, or the other way round?
The Blackburn manager, John Eustace, went to Derby.
Derby, that's right. That's the one, yeah.
Got quite a few Derby Blackburn players, haven't they?
Well, in fairness, Blackburn weren't doing too badly when Eustace was there.
No.
A bit of a strange move, but fair play to him. But yeah, I think Derby will be in trouble, I think. I think they may only just survive. But Southampton, yeah, surely the warning bells are going off there. But again, change of owners, haven't they?
Yeah, they don't really like Sport Republic, do they? It's
Southampton. No.
But this is the thing, Chris, with Southampton. It's one of them where how many more bad decisions can you make as a club? They didn't have really a bad window, to be fair. Did the players? Did they? Did bring in? They probably brought a lot more players in than we did, but it looks like we brought in the better players, even on loan. So
it's quality, not quantity, though, isn't it? I guess
Some Southampton fans say we're bloody. It don't look like we're going to make promotion this season. It looks like we're going to be bottom half.
Well, I can see that, to be honest with you, but I don't think the owners actually want to be there, do they? Either I don't think they're fully committed to the club.
No, they're not making the right decisions. They're American, are the Sport Republic?
Oh, it's weird because the guy that owned it and then passed away, his wife took it over. They were probably some of the best recent years that they'd had, and then she sold it because, like I say, it was more her ex-husband, that was in. And then she sold it, and I've got confused with it now. But yeah, I can see Southampton being being bottom half unless they do something quite. Now, don't ask me why, but I like Charlton. I don't.
Yeah.
I go back to when I was a little kid, and my dad used to go and fill up with Esso petrol, and collect the little coins. And I'd have a folder, and you'd put the coin in the little hole that was, meant for it. And I think I had more Charlton ones than any other. And I just like them. Again, along Blackburn lines, and you must have seen the advert for Paddy Power, and who's the Charlton guy, the manager this act years ago? Oh, they were in the top division.
Was it
Alan Kirbishley? Yeah. Yeah, and Charlton fans were like, "Oh God, and they finished mid-table, probably a couple of 3 seasons on the trot, and they moaned. So they sacked Kirbishley, got relegated, and went down and down. But Kirbishley, in this advert for Paddy Power, he sat at home with his missus, going, "Somebody must want a manager. I've replied I've set all these letters off and calls, and some clubs haven't even replied to me. There must be a job out for me there somewhere." And then the phone rings. And he picks it up and he goes, "Alan Kirbishley, they've got a job, right? Man United." "Yeah, I can't. No, I'm busy. I'm sorry. No, I've got another offer. Sorry, bye." I'm thinking that's just so brilliant, so brilliant. But all the pundits had Charlton going down, but they're doing all right, aren't they?
Yeah, they've started well, haven't they? I think they'll be happy enough to stay up. If they got off at 21st, I think they'd take it, to be fair, but I think they'll finish a lot higher.
Yeah.
I did say they'd stay up this season, but Preston, they've started off fantastic. They beat Leicester, they beat Ipswich, they beat some good sides. At home, they picked up a lot of points, which you'd expect. A lot of teams had them to go down this season, Preston, and did they expect them to start as well as they have? No. But no.
Preston serial good starters, and then they always fade off halfway through the season.
Yeah, they've done that a couple of championship seasons. I mean, he used to be a very good championship side, didn't he, years ago?
Yeah.
He used to have
love, when I lived in Burnley, which is obviously down the road from Preston.
Yeah.
I used to love going to Leicester away matches, basically because they gave it was a family game, and the kids used to get in for £1, and I had 4 kids, so it saved me a hell of a lot of money. But they got a win against Charlton, and like I think with Preston, like I said, I'm just waiting for them to implode, because they always do.
Yeah, they I think there were a couple of seasons ago that started off very well, and then they didn't really sort of have that effect after. I think when Leicester when Leicester were in the league, they were a top for a bit.
Yeah.
I think it was like 9 games at the top, and they had quite a lot of significant points. And then they obviously had last season where they're 1 point off relegation, and they've started off quite well under Heckingbottom. Thierry Small doing well there, they're doing wonders with who expected them to do what they're doing, is what I'd say.
Yeah. Bristol City started off well. Again, but they've dropped down now to, I say dropped to 10th. They're only 3 points off us in third. But QPR, again, now another team, obviously close to our hearts because of Marty, but sat up there in 6th. I mean, I wasn't expecting that as I don't know if I've still got it or not, but was it Monty Python used to say, "Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition." No, I've not got it anymore. I used to have that as a gift. But QPR doing all right, aren't they?
Yeah, Richie Kone has done all right for them. The one who Leicester should have signed.
We should have signed him, shouldn't we?
That's Leicester's problem. We hadn't got an actual number 9. That's where if we had a number 9, I think we'd score more goals than what we've had, and we'd win a lot more games. So, yeah, that's the only effect we've got this season, that we aren't doing a lot more in the striking position. Is what's letting us down. Everybody else on the pitch is doing the job apart from the number 9. So, it's one of them. To be fair, Chris.
No, you're quite right. Middlesbrough, wow. Portsmouth 1, Middlesbrough 0. I did not see this coming. What did I go for this? I think I actually went 1-1, but no way did I think Middlesbrough were going to lose this.
Well, Portsmouth are full of surprises, aren't they? You can't rule them out. This is the thing. They'll turn up one game and then in another game you'll think, how did you get a result the week before? And then they'll go and pick up another surprise result again. Everyone, I think, backed Middlesbrough for this game, but going to Fratton Park, they were quite good there last season, wasn't they? And they picked up the most points. So, yeah, going to Portsmouth away, it's tricky. But you've got to be good for your money. And obviously Middlesbrough wasn't on the day.
No. Lost their 100% record. As I've just said, and I have found it, nobody was expecting that result.
Nobody expects a Spanish Inquisition.
There you go. Better late than never. Right. Next up, Millwall again. Nobody was expecting this. Millwall 3, West Brom 0.
Poor by West Brom, but Millwall needed that reaction after the defeat to Coventry, and they reacted well. Good win at the Den. Much needed, and it sort of helps them with where they are in the table as well. Actually, I think they've started off reasonably well, haven't they, Millwall so far? They always seem to be there and about, don't they, Chris, in the Championship?
They do, but again, I mean, for that one, I had a 1-0 West Bromwich Albion win.
Oh,
I
draw.
Sorry,
I went 1-1 in that game because I weren't sure.
I mean, it was away, which is why I thought it might not be, but it would be a tight game. But yeah, I just thought, because of course West Brom had a good start as well, didn't they?
Yeah, West Brom have started reasonably well, haven't they?
Yes, yeah. And then we come to the big match of the weekend: Swansea 1, Leicester 3. A lot of people predicting a draw for this one for some reason.
I weren't surprised. Thinking which Leicester City's going to turn up. We asked for two things in that game: to have more shots on target and to do well in the final third. We did both. I thought we fully deserved that win. I thought we were dominant in big parts of the game, and the team turned up. Jordan James masterclass. Thought were fantastic. Two worldies from Leicester, Jordan James and Fatawu, both scored absolute belters. Yannick Vestergaard scored on his second trip to Swansea in consecutive games. Another 3-1 win, like last time when we visited them before in the Championship. So, yeah, happy days. I thought we fully deserved it. Obviously, we did give away a bloody stupid penalty. Like I say, Chris, we caused our own problems. And
I don't think it was a penalty, though, was it?
Oh, no, I honestly thought, looking from the away end, it looked like a penalty because we're at the opposite end. We're going to think, man, he's giving away a penalty. But then when you look at it on Sky, it looks like he wins the ball and it comes back off the play and goes out for a corner. But the referee looks at it from a back view, don't he? He don't look at it from a side view. But the linesman's got to take a look, hasn't he, really, and say, the referee's got to say, well, what did you see from your angle?
Yeah.
But what did the linesman do? Nothing. He just let the referee make the decision. They're not going to grumble on the Swansea about the penalty, but now Leicester fully deserved it. I think we needed to get back to winning ways, and in the fashion that we did, happy days. We sit third.
We do. And, I mean, it was interesting because the commentator said, because I was watching I was paying to watch it, as and the commentator said he thought it was a corner, and Matt Elliott being on the Swansea stream was really, really funny, but he thought it was a goal kick. So
I thought so,
but I mean, I ask you this because had that gone to VAR, I don't think it would have been given.
No, they'd have overruled that and not gave it at all.
But do you really want VAR?
No, because it took 20 minutes just to see it.
Exactly.
Passes there would have got in the way of the footage.
Yeah, very, very true. I mean, but again, why he was right on the line? If he just stood up phase.
I've seen him out, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't need to go in like that, does he?
Well, this is it. We was hoping he'd stay on his feet and see it out. We're going out a play anyway, so I don't understand why he's gone to ground. But then he did this against West Brom. You usher that man and stop him from beating you. You know, you stay on your feet. We don't concede. But them two decisions that we have done in the last 2 away games have sort of what West Brom cost us, didn't it, to be fair, and getting a draw by fine margins. But then the Swansea game, after they scored the penalty, we dominated. We absolutely battered them. And Fatawu could have scored from the halfway line. He hit the crossbar and Daka headed it in. The great save by the keeper. We had many, many chances in that game to probably score 4, maybe 5. And Carranza has got to do better. But
if that was Daka, he would have got hung, drawn, and quartered.
Exactly. But no, I thought Daka closed the game down well.
Yeah.
His sort of job is a striker to score goals, which I bloody hope he can bloody add goals. But the thing is, he stayed up front, didn't he, Daka? He done his job, not done a Uncle Ayu and started running there and everywhere and defending for the bloody opposition at times. But no, I thought reasonably. I thought we were good for our money. We fully deserved it. A few frustrating moments where we just kept letting them get in the box. But Stolartic's made a fantastic save. And he's obviously going to get a criticism. Chris.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, only we could. Well, who did we sell Hermanson to? Oh, yeah, West Ham, wasn't it?
It's now a bench warmer.
Yeah. But look, at the end of the day, we needed the money, didn't we? But well done, Leicester. Up to third. Nice to go to the international break with a win. Watford, Oxford. This was a bit of a couldn't really be bothered with sort of game, to be honest with you. Watford in 11th. Oxford 22nd. I've got a mate who's an Oxford fan. I can see them going down, to be honest with you.
Watford, see, their manager's under a lot of scrutiny. They want him out. So, obviously, at Watford, you always know, Chris, when you sign the contract and get it on the dotted line, you're going to be gone within 6 months. And I think if they'd have lost that game against Oxford or even drew, I think maybe his head was on the chopping board again. So, Oxford, they're all going to be down there this season, aren't they? In the relegation battle. I think that's where they are. They just haven't got enough quality, to be fair. But that's due to like the funds in it that they have got available as much as other clubs. So they'll give it a fair crack. I think they've got to start picking up more points at home. I think that's where they are going to stay up if they can get points at home. But away points, it's just a bonus for them, isn't it, to be fair? They're not probably expected to pick up a lot of points on the road this season. No.
And, of course, finally, the East Anglican Derby yesterday. Ipswich beating Norwich for about the first time in 120 years, something like that, something silly. But Ipswich, suddenly, since that 5-0 win over Sheffield United, they're picking up the good wins, aren't they?
Yeah, Billy Jean scored. Sorry, Phila Jean. Scored the absolute belter. Ipswich, what was it, 16 years without beating Norwich. And, I think that was a real good one to take for them yesterday. You know, that's going to make up their season, isn't it, that win over Norwich? Norwich under Liam Manning, they're poor, aren't they? Josh Sargent's not banging in the goals for them in the minute. They're really struggling. And I think he'll be sacked at some point. Maybe Russell Martin goes there, Chris, to be fair, being an ex-Norwich player and that. But no, Ipswich fully deserved their win yesterday. I think it was a big 3 points for them going into the international break, and especially getting it, knowing that the East Anglia is blue.
Well, yeah, and I'm just looking here. Let's just bring the table up here because, look, Ipswich Town are there. I don't know if you can see that at all. I'll read them out. But Ipswich are in 9th, 13 points. They've got a game in hand because, obviously, of the water polo game. And I can just say, I think that is Ipswich have come out and said they are not going to give Blackburn a goal lead.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely disgusting. You're smiling. I mean, I'm remembering Leicester Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, sportsmanship. Gary Megson,
Yeah.
Colin Calderwood, wasn't he, at the time? Agreed that
Yeah.
Morris should get the goal. Which is sportsmanship, in it. It is, and obviously I think Blackburn probably do deserve the goal, but the FL are like, yeah, well, we're not going to do anything like that. We're going to start it again. It's harsh on Blackburn that they only had 10 minutes to play in the game, but the rules are the rules, aren't they? And this is it.
I get the game that the game is being replayed,
Yeah,
but for the Ipswich allegedly have come out and said themselves we're not going to do that. But I mean, even if you remember that Villa Leeds game,
yeah,
Bielsa, that's it. He gets the goal back.
Mm.
Yeah, it is. And then at some point, at 76 minutes or whatever it was when he got sent off, do they go a player down? It's good.
Well, this is it, you see. I don't think Ipswich are going to want that at all, are they? I think they're just going to play the game. I don't even think it probably make much difference. Even if they did want Blackburn went 1-0, probably Ipswich would still come back and win in the game for 90 minutes.
We did against Forest, didn't we? But
yeah,
it was just a case of I just think it's sportsmanship,
Yeah.
and I'll think a lot less of Ipswich if they don't, to be honest with you. But look, third place, one loss, 3 clean sheets this season, 4 clean sheets this season, I think it is, 16 points. You'd have taken that if I'd given you that at the start of the season, said, well, can we get to the second international break? We're going to be sat third on 16 points. You'd have taken it, wouldn't you, Jack?
Of course you would, yeah. Because we didn't know how the season would actually go for Leicester so far. Obviously, everyone's too worried about the possible points deduction. People think we guaranteed it, which, let people speak, let people focus on us. It puts more pressure on them. We've not got no pressure on us at the minute. We're just doing what we're doing. We've got 16 points. We're third. We're happy. We should have more points on the board, to be honest, in games that we should have won. But that's it. I think 3 points behind top. You can't grumble going into the international break. We're just got to come back after the international break, fit and firing again, scoring goals and picking up wins, starting with Pompey. We've got 6 games before the next international break in November after this one. So we just got to get as many points as we can.
Yeah, totally. Because if we do get a points deduction, then we want as many on the board as we can. And I think if we do get it, it's going to come in November, because that's sort of when Everton and Forest go. We would have known by now, had Susan Whelan actually sent those accounts off on time, we would know by now. But that's what's complicated the bloody thing, How many there do you see? I mean, look, let's take the top 6, because at the moment it's still the top 6 that will go up in one form or another, or 3 of those, obviously. How many of those top 6 do you still see? Do you still see being there come the end of the season? I know it's early days, but just for interest.
Leicester and Coventry will definitely be in the top 6, in my opinion. Preston, I don't think they'll be there, to be fair. Stoke, I think they'll be, maybe they could push for top 10, maybe. I think Ipswich are going to be there, aren't they, at some point? They'll arrive late on. QPR, I don't think I had QPR even there this year. I think I had them about 15th to finish. So I think I've probably underestimated them, to be fair. But Middlesbrough, I think they're going to be there in about, aren't they, Chris, to be fair? I think Middlesbrough, I think they could possibly take 6th. I think about Birmingham in 6th place this season. So I'm going to take Middlesbrough to 6th.
I mean, I think Ipswich will be up there, like you say. They're coming good. I I can see Middlesbrough dropping out of it, to
Yeah.
be honest with you. Preston will. Stoke will. QPR will. West Brom, look, they're always there or thereabouts, aren't they?
Mill will always like to make a push, don't they? So you know they're going to be there at some point.
Yeah. So I can see Coventry, Leicester, West Brom, Ipswich. That's 4. And then I think you're going to get a couple of surprises.
Yeah.
You know, it might be a Sheffield United because they've done it before, you know. But let's have a look at the bottom and do the same sort of thing. The interesting thing is we've got 16 points. So if we get a 9-point deduction, what's that going to take us down to? 7?
7 points.
So that would still have us up in 21st because we've got a better goal difference from Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah.
So, you know, at this point, it doesn't look too bad. But the longer it goes into the season and the more the teams are getting more points, it probably would look bad. I can see Sheffield Wednesday still being down there. I think Sheffield United will turn it around, maybe not all the way up to the Premier, you know, to the top, but I can see Sheffield United. For me, probably Blackburn and Oxford. I could probably see those 3 going down.
Sheffield Wednesday will definitely be there because they'll probably going to be due a points deduction, which will probably sleep them rock bottom anyway. I think they can get up to 15 points is what's being touted about, which that's going to put them in League One anyway, which they're expecting it. Oh, Jesus. Blackburn, I think they'll be definitely down there this season again. Oxford, yes. Derby County. I did probably expect them to finish about 14th, but
I think they might just manage to hold on.
There's always about 6 teams, aren't there? 7 teams in the relegation battle. It always seems to go to the final day sometimes, like last season did. So Wrexham, I think they'll be round about 15th, 16th in my opinion. Charlton, I think they'll be up there. Birmingham, I think they'll be more into the top half of the table at some point. Southampton, they've got to do something quick because, you know, the more you leave things and they get worse, the more it's going to impact you for where you're going to finish at the end. So it's an interesting one. Sheffield United, though, their sort of woes are where they are at the minute. And if they carry it on, they're going to be nowhere near the playoffs because I've had them to be in the playoffs this season. And if that carries on up until Christmas time, I can't see them being nowhere near the playoffs.
No. He needs to turn it around very quickly. Yeah. He's done it in the past, so who knows? But yeah, it's a long way to go, as they always say. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and all that shit. Just to say, thanks very much for coming on. Just to say, tomorrow's shows, we've got the Foxes Forum at 7. Leicester in Crisis with Dave Bartram. Those that are old enough to remember Show Waddy Waddy will remember that he's the lead singer with Show Waddy Waddy, a good friend. And he messaged me the other day after the Susan Whelan sacking, not a happy chappy, to put it the least. So we're going to let him have a rant tomorrow night. Jack, tell us what you've got coming up and tell us about your channel.
Go and subscribe to us at the Final Whistle. We've not obviously got match preview on this week. We're gonna do little bits we're gonna do like a little season so far about what we think to Leicester and how we think we're actually getting on, standout players, and that we're gonna do this week. Championship, we're gonna do like a little roundup of how we think the championship's gone so far for teams and if we change
I think most of us are doing that sort of a thing, aren't we? The fun of an international break.
We're going to sort of look at it of if we change anything of what we predicted for the top 6 and the relegation. So we're going to obviously discuss it a lot more further than what we have tonight with Chris. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We have got the match preview back next week as we take on Portsmouth. And then we've obviously got the championship predictions week 10 next Thursday.
Are you doing an England watch-along?
No.
Good
luck to everyone international though, like Jordan Ayew, Abdul Fattah.
Oh yeah, we wish them well, but I've just got no interest in. I'll do the England women because that's exciting, But the England men, I'm sorry, if you can't win these bloody qualifying games with the shit that we're up against.
Club over country, Chris, I'm telling you. That's how, I sort of get up for Leicester City, but when it comes to England, it's frustrating as hell, like the games and the lose games in some fashion. You think, how have you lost that? And there's something I do, and then it gets frustrating. But I hope I hope all our players come back fine, is what I'd say.
That's the point, isn't it? Yeah, we don't want any injuries. Knowing our luck, Jordan James will come back and he's out for the season.
We're not having that. We'll cut that part out.
No. All right, mate. Look, thanks for coming on, and it was very last minute. Thank you very much for jumping on for me. Guys, go and give Jack your support at the final whistle. At the final whistle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the final whistle. Go and give him your support. Subscribe to this channel, like the video, and share it if you know somebody that's not seen it. All the best, Jack, and we'll speak soon, no doubt. Take care, buddy.
Appreciate it. See you later.
Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.